Hello, here's the news at this hour from Tstv. I am Mobola Badekale. Here are some major headlines. Buhari condoles with Makinde over death of mother. INEC gives date for 2023 presidential election. African nation asks United Kingdom to repeal 14-day quarantine law for travelers. And in the world of sport, athletes delighted as federal government lifts ban on contact sports. And now the news in details. The President, Muhammadu Buhari, the Governor of Ogun State, Dapo Abiodun, among others, has yesterday commiserated with Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde over the death of his mother, Abigail Makinde. The governor's mother passed away in the early hours of Thursday at the age of 81. Buhari's condolence message was contained in a statement by Senior Special Assistant on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu. President Muhammadu Buhari, in a statement, said he commiserates with Governor Seyi Makinde of Oyo State and his entire family over the passing of their mother, urges friends and family members to find solace in the good works of the governor's mother, who invested heavily in the fear of God and ensured that children and grandchildren followed the same training of diligence, discipline, and charity. Similarly, the Ogun State Governor, Dapo Abiodun, the Christian Association of Nigeria in Oyo State, the Speaker, Oyo State House of Assembly, and other personalities across the state have commiserated with Governor Seyi Makinde and the Makinde family on account of the death of his mother. The National Youth Service Corps NYSC coordinator in Oyo State, Mrs. Grace Ogbogebe, has described how outgone Corps members helped the state during the period of the COVID-19 pandemic. Mrs. Grace stated this in an interview with newsmen on the sidelines of the 2019 Batch C Stream 1 Corps members passing out in Ibadan. She, however, lauded the patience, patriotism, and unique contribution of the outgoing Corps members towards preventing the spread of the virus in the state. The coordinator also said that some of the Corps members responded positively to the call by the NYSC Director General Brigadier General Shuaibu Ibrahim at the beginning of the pandemic for sensitization and production of COVID-19 preventive materials. The Independent National Electoral Commission has said the next presidential election will hold on the second Saturday of February 2023. It also called for laws to allow electronic voting, stricter punishment, and special courts for electoral offences ahead of 2023. The chairman of INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, made the announcement in Abuja yesterday at the inauguration of the Special Committee on the Review of the 1999 Constitution at the House of Representatives. Yakubu, in his message, said Nigeria was 855 days away from the 2023 presidential election, urging the National Assembly to speed up the amendment of the Constitution and electoral reforms. Also has called for the implementation of recommendations by various panels on political and electoral reforms, while urging the Parliament to consider more severe punishments for electoral offenders. The federal government has agreed to release 30 billion naira earned academic allowance to the university lecturers. The money will be paid in tranches between May 2021 and February 2022. It was gathered that the federal government also promised to spend 20 billion naira on the revitalization of the education sector as part of concession meant to end the 7-month strike declared by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU. These were part of the agreements reached during the ongoing meeting between the federal government and ASU leadership yesterday. Speaking earlier, before going into a closed-door session, the Minister of Labour and Employment, Chris Ngige, said students were being recruited into the EndSARS protest following the closure of university occasioned by the ASU strike. He expressed the hope that ASU will call off the strike soon, noting that the government had been finding ways to end the 7-month strike. The news on Tstv will be back right after this.
The news so far.
Welcome back, and now to some foreign stories. African nations have accused the United Kingdom of discriminating against travelers from the continent by failing to open travel corridors. Africa is said to be one of the few continents with no corridor from the United Kingdom, meaning that all travelers are forced to quarantine for 14 days. This is despite the fact that Britain now has higher rates of COVID-19 cases compared to many African countries, including Nigeria, South Africa, Egypt, Kenya, among others. United Kingdom travel corridors are currently in place to Singapore and Malaysia in Asia, countries in Europe such as Germany and Italy and New Zealand, although both countries' borders remain closed to international travelers. The Africa Travel and Tourism Association has therefore launched a petition that calls for a review of the travel corridors list to countries in Africa in line with the same metrics used for the rest of the world. Mexico's former Defense Minister Salvador Cienfuegos was arrested yesterday in the United States, reportedly at the request of the United States Drug Enforcement Administration in connection with a corruption investigation. Cienfuegos, who was defense chief from 2012 to 2018, was said to have been on a trip with his family when he was detained at Los Angeles airport. Mexican Foreign Minister Marcelo Ebrard said on Twitter that the consul in Los Angeles will inform him of the charges in the next few hours. The Mexican investigative magazine Proceso, quoting unnamed sources as the United States Department of Justice, reported that the arrest was as of a result of a long-standing investigation named Operation Godfather into corruption involving drug traffickers. He, however, stated that other senior military officials had also come under investigation when United States authorities began to collect evidence against drug lord Joaquin El Chapo, adding that Guzman is serving a life sentence in the United States. And now moving on to the exciting world of sport, Nigerian athletes were in ecstatic mood yesterday after the federal government lifted the ban on football and all other contact sports in the country with effect from Monday, October 19, 2020. The National Coordinator of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, Dr. Sani Aliyu, in a briefing in Abuja yesterday, said the federal government had decided to ease the restrictions on football and other contact sports in the country. Aliyu said the decision was arrived at after consultation with the Sports Ministry and the National Center for Disease Control (NCDC). Aliyu, however, announced that these games would take place behind closed doors, while Sports Minister Sunday Dari also said the removal of the ban was a welcome development. The announcement came as a relief to the country's athletes who had been in the dark over the resumption of contact sports after a 7-month lull. The Australia Open will be absent from the sports calendar for the first time since World War II this season. This came to be after Golf Australia and Professional Golfers Association (PGA) of Australia cancelled all of the top events today because of the COVID-19 pandemic. The 105th edition of the country's oldest and most prestigious tournament, scheduled to take place at Melbourne Kingston Heath Golf Club, had already been postponed from its usual slot in November, while the governing bodies decided to cancel both men and women's Open and the Australian PGA Championship. The Australian PGA Championship, which was the first played in 1905 and is co-sanctioned by the European Tour, had already been moved from December to February at Brisbane's Royal Queensland. And with that, we've come to the end of the news. Here is a recap of the major headlines. Buhari condoles with Makinde over death of mother. INEC gives date for 2023 presidential election. African nations ask United Kingdom to repeal 14-day quarantine law for travelers. And in the world of sports, you heard athletes delighted as federal government lifts ban on contact sports. Please do not forget to adhere to COVID-19 safety measures. The news was compiled by Hope Chijioke. I am Mobola Badekale. Good day and thank you for watching.